Hi there, it's Beauty Junkay. Welcome to my channel. Today we're getting into one of the new Dior Quint eyeshadow palettes. Quint is 5-pan, and I have the shade number 879 Rouge Trafalgar. This is the very red toned palette, and I'm going to be trying this on today. I'll be doing some swatches first, and I'll be showing you an old school Dior Quint, just for, you know, funsies. I'm also going to be using all the other Dior products in my collection, which I found out I only have 3 other, well, technically only really 2 other products in my collection that are from Dior that I use regularly. Otherwise, I don't have that much Dior, which I guess doesn't surprise me, but I'm trying to expand my horizons, and if I think something is worth it, I will buy it. I'm so happy that people are getting into Dior Quints, because I remember when they were a thing, but now they're a thing people actually like. Which is funny to say. First, I want to get into the perfume of the day, which is Replica Maison Margiela Springtime in the Park. Have a little sample. I wish I had like the fireplace one or the jazz club one, but I don't have a sample of that right now. But I have this one, and I kind of remember this being very floral and powdery. It's nice, very feminine. Yeah, very florally. Nice. The thing I will say about Maison Margiela, I have a full size of Beach Walk. I thought it smelled really good on paper, but it smells like baby powder on me, and that's it. And it doesn't last very long. So I don't know if that's your experience with his other scents, but yeah, that's just sort of my, oh my goodness. I have a jazz club. We'll save that from another time. This is more of a fall fragrance. Sorry guys, I can't see what I have very well. Before I start trying on the eyeshadow, let's do some swatches. I did get this from Selfridges, and I feature this in my Selfridges video. I did do some swatches, but we're gonna do swatches again. I haven't tried it on my eyes yet though. So I don't know the names of these colors because I don't think they have names. There's ingredients lists for all of them though. And I'm not sure that this one is coming out in the US or where it's available in the US, but it is on Selfridges website. Sorry, it's a little messy there. The red got a little everywhere. I didn't see it on Sephora's website. I only saw this on Selfridges. I thought it was an interesting, different sort of set of colors, so that's kind of why I picked it. Selfridges also has another kind of different shades of like black and gray and shiny, very nighttime looking. Also, I haven't seen that other places, so this one might be a little bit different for you all, but we're just gonna go around the circle and do some swatches. Sorry, around the palette. So this one never swatches perfectly, but it is a really interesting shade, and I can't wait to try it on my eyes. The sort of peachy pink is nice. These feel really soft and buttery. I'm not sure like how exciting this one is swatched, but it looks like it goes well with the shade. We have this kind of chocolatey deep brown, which is nice and pigmented. We have, of course, the star of the show, kind of this red, kind of a brick red. It's not like totally matte, still has some sheen, but I think these ones have more sheen. Yeah, I just kind of like a red eyeshadow for fall. It's kind of what I thought of when I picked this up, like, oh, this is a good fall palette, right? And I really like the idea of 5 shades instead of like your regular quad, because sometimes I'm like, I really do need an extra shade or an extra option. And I like in this quad that their extra option is like the topper, the glittery sparkle pony. And this is definitely a light pink with a lot of glitter. It's hard not to get the red shade in there. I'm trying not to do that. But this is like pink silvery sparkle. You can maybe barely see a little bit of pink behind it on my skin tone, but there is kind of a pink undertone under there slightly. You're mostly gonna see glitter though, and I think it's really pretty glitter. It's nice and refined. It's not super chunky. It's lightweight glitter. Some of you that don't like glitter, don't like topper shades, you may not like that one. But it is pink toned. I think it goes with the rest of the palette. Even though they seem to be not pink, I think it still works. So those are the swatches for Trafalgar shades. I'm not gonna remember that name. Maybe you guys can tell me what it means. Alright, so this is the packaging. This one says 5 colors, right? Not how the United States spells color, so I don't know if this one is not gonna come over to us. So this guy came with a couple applicators, some brushes, and some sponge dual end applicators. Probably never gonna use those. Now before we start on the face, I do want to show you my other Quint from many years ago. Ooh, this has got to be like over 10 years old, but it's not totally different. So this is the new one, this is the old one. The old one actually has holographic like CD in the background. You can see where this is just a flat navy blue. I think the font is exactly the same. The font looks a little bit bigger on here. This one's a little bit more square, and this one's a bit more rectangle, and this one is fatter. This one's more rectangle. This has the chrome on the side, this doesn't, and they're pretty similar on the back. I will note that this one is pretty broken, and many times I find that I break stuff at the edges right here, so this isn't quite right, but you know, still able to close it and shut it and everything. And this is number 30, Incognito. This is a very basic, boring neutral palette, and I got this like a long time ago, and I don't know, I just never could get rid of it. It's my first Dior Quint ever. And I say the color payoff's pretty poor, and I'll do some swatches. And you know, this one feels soft, but I mean, they all feel pretty soft, which is good. It's just I didn't get like that much pigment, and they just kind of looked powdery, especially these top 3 really light shades here. These ones were better, but these shades just didn't do anything for me. And I think that's kind of where people gave these Quints like a bad reputation, because they never really performed that well in the past, I think, personally. But I'm glad that they're kind of finally coming around and have improved their formula. I know this summer I saw their summer Quints come out, their summer palettes, and they were really fun and bright and interesting, and they looked great. But these like more classic shades, I mean, those are more my style, and I could definitely see myself picking up a few of them. I don't know that I will, but these feel really nice, and they definitely have more color payoff. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to show you this Quint just for fun. We're going to do some swatches, and you can see this is kind of very yellow, but also like, is it even there? I'll do the white shade, which to me probably could have done well if it wasn't matte. Maybe a little bit of shimmer or excitement, but these two shades are just flat matte. And then we have the middle shade, which is like a really light kind of peach shade, which, you know, it's soft, but another matte that just of barely shows up. I mean, this is so old, maybe it's just the formula isn't going to be great anyway. And then we have like a brown tone shade that looks like it's supposed to be some sort of satin shade, but I'm not seeing a lot of satin. And then we have a taupe, also looks like it's supposed to be satin, a little bit of sheen to it, but kind of a cooler tone, right, from the rest of the palette, which I was always confused by. So this is the Quint right here. I think you can see the improvement in quality from left to right. You can definitely see the different tones, textures here, what they're going for, where this is matte, 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 maybe a little bit of satin happening, kind of, and then supposed to be satin as well. I don't know, just not like super great formulas on the left, but definitely improvement on the right here. So those are my two Dior Quints. Very, very fun. I think when you're looking at the colors, if you know, after this video you decide you want to pick something up, there's a lot of gorgeous neutrals, but I urge you to go for something different, because while it's nice to have a nice luxury neutral palette, I would go for something fun. Today's foundation is going to be the Dior Airflash, one of my favorite foundations. This is 104 is the shade, and I apply it with a sponge, but I think this formula is just unbeatable. So I'm going to put on some primer and a little bit of a glow serum. I'm using the Tatcha liquid silk canvas. Oh, it smells so strong. So strong. So I use the Hydrolon moisturizer from Indeed, and I put on the primer, and now it's pilling. Gross. So I didn't have a whole lot of time before I put this on and started filming, but we had like 10 minutes of filming and I still got pilling. So what I'm saying is I had some time to dry, but ooh, good to know about this moisturizer, because I haven't had issues with this primer, so I think it's my skincare. Oh well, hopefully it doesn't affect the foundation too much. So I'm using the Beautay Cellulose Brightening CC Serum, and this is the white shade. I'm just gonna pop this on wherever, everywhere, because we're just gonna get real luxurious. I'm just reaching for my pile of makeup. Alright, so we have our primer on. Now for the Airflash. I like to spray it on a glass palette. So I'm going to be using my palette here and then picking it up with a sponge. So we're just going to spray paint. You can see that smoke, that cloud. That is from the aerosol, and that is makeup. Micro pieces of makeup going everywhere, so just be careful of what you're wearing, what you're spraying, what's around you. Just gonna pick up my sponge and tap this on. I really like applying foundation this way. I think it just makes things blend really nicely and natural looking. Well, it achieves a natural looking result in my opinion. I like to use this foundation for special occasions, weddings. It's probably well past its expiration by this point because I don't use it that often, but I don't care, I'm still using it. It definitely feels bougie, it feels a bit ridiculous because it's a spray. But the formula, even though I'm not spraying it directly on my face, I think it's just so good. I mean, I know people like the luminous silk, but this is a great competitor. So I just, you know, really light layer, really. And it's so smooth. I'm noticing some dryness on my forehead. I wonder if that's from retinol. I didn't notice that until I put makeup on. You guys ever have that happen where you think your skincare is doing well and then you put on makeup and things look worse? Or you just notice things that you didn't before. Concealer. I don't have a Dior concealer, but I heard some of the ones that are out now are really good. People really like, but I only have my Giorgione one. That is sort of the high-end one I have right now. And speaking of high-end foundations and stuff, I am really curious about Suku. It's SUQQU or something like that. It's a Japanese brand, high-end brand. They have it at Selfridges and other stores like Harrods. And I think it's a little bit hard to find in the US, but I'm really curious about some of their cream foundations. They look really intriguing, although I've seen some YouTubers really like it, and then others that are like, well, they don't outright say they don't like it, but they noticed it was a bit cakey, the cream foundation, and they noticed that the concealer wasn't really that intense. So that worries me somewhat. I'm going to put on my Junkay Happy Cheek Gelée for blush today, just because I've been loving this. And we're doing kind of a warmer red peachy toned eye look, so I wanted to have a peachy blush. So for setting powder, I'm doing the Junkay loose powder in light. Again, don't have a lot of Dior products, so a little bit limited on my options for you guys, but trying my best here. I am always curious about the Dior lip products because some of them are like people really love and cult classics, and they have some interesting formulas. And the packaging always looks so pretty, and it's just also very tempting. Before I move on to a little bit of powder bronzer, I do want to use the Guerlain Meteorites Compact just for a little something extra. This is the finishing powder / color corrector powder. Alright, we're doing the Tom Ford Terra bronzer. Alright, I think that's enough bronze. Let's do some highlights. So this is actually a Dior product, and I got this year, and I really like the tone of it. This is the Dior Skin Nude Luminizer in 02. This is the pink one, and I just think this is gorgeous, and the packaging is to die for. It's kind of that like shifty pink, and it's really nice, just really pretty. And you know, you can see how many swipes I'm doing. Like, it's not like super blinding right away. You kind of have to go back and forth a little bit depending on your highlighter preference. We're gonna do a little bit of brows, and then we're finally gonna get into our Quint. So I'm using the Tom Ford Fiber Brow Gel in taupe. My eyebrows are not the shape I want them to be, but we're just dealing with them right now. But it's fully filled in, right? Where this one, you can see spots here. It's definitely the better brow. Get into the Quint, lady. What do I want to do with this? That is the question. So I love that there's 5 colors and not just 4. I think I'm gonna start with the peach just to be safe and show you guys what that is like. This shade right here. And I'm not using any primer on this eye. I'm gonna use primer on the other eye. But this applied pretty pigmented pretty quickly. So that's good. You can see that. That shows up a very nice shade. If you are curious, because I feel like it's my most traditional eye primer that I own. And I find that if not anything, it makes colors pop a lot more. So while we have this side in its natural state, let's go ahead and kick over to the primer side. See any difference there? I feel like it's darker on this side. Kind of weird, huh? I kind of want to do red. Yeah, we're gonna go with the red shade, just starting off a little bit bold. Guy here, it's definitely less intimidating than what you see in the pan or in the swatch. It looks like a nice cranberry brick red. Very nice tone, natural looking. Not super unusual shade, to be honest. But it's pretty smooth. It applies really nicely on either side. I'm liking this. I'm liking this pumpkin-y fall look. Not really pumpkin-y, but a little bit more red. I'm liking that. I know my placement is not super defined, and I definitely went in the same areas as the peach, but I feel like you can still see that bit of a peachy undertone underneath still creeping out under there. I could definitely stop here with those two eyeshadows for sure, but I do think I want to try this purpley plummy sort of shade underneath my lash line, lower lash line. It's definitely pretty, and it does go well with the other shades. Even though, you know, it's kind of going in a different sort of direction. Kind of cooler tone, but you still have some red in it. So I think these shades are well matched. You know, mixed in with the red on top of the red, I think it just kind of flows. So we have a brown that's kind of deep that maybe I'll just kind of work in as a little rough eyeliner kind of a look. Brush. This brown though can be used many different ways. It is a satin shade. So if you wanted to work this in the crease, you definitely could. You know, initially I was gonna do a pencil. But yeah, I think this works. It's not like super matte or dark, but you still get some definition. I think that's a nice sort of eye defining shade. I'd say like applying with a brush versus a finger, I'm sure makes a difference. Yeah. But you know, with a brush, the red is definitely more like on the subdued side. I definitely don't think they should be applied with your finger, but you can. I think it just applies better with brush. But yeah, the red, I think, not as scary as it appears. I think if you look at some of like the model shots and the stock footage for this eyeshadow palette in particular, the red one, they make the red so intense on the model that it looks so scary, but when you actually apply it, it's way less sheer, and they must have put tons of like, I don't know if they applied it wet or they put a couple layers on the model, but it just looks super red, and that's not really the case. You don't have to wear it like that. Kind of funny, they did a good job, I think, of scaring people off. At least some people. But yeah, this is like a really nice fall rusty sort of palette, but you have this fun sort of different tone of pink that's still in the same color family that I think really goes well, surprisingly. I do want to use the topper shade, of course, so you can guys get a sense of what that looks like. And you know, I think you can really see that light pink there, which you can't really see in the swatch. And I'm sure I'm gonna get some fallout with this. I think it would have been really cool if there was like a red topper. A red tone glitter. It's kind of different, right? Because with this on top of the red, it definitely mutes the red tone, which is not really my intention. I can kind of see this going well with these two or this guy, but on top of the red, I don't know that the pink is like super appropriate because it just really calms down the red. I don't know that we all want to do that, and I don't necessarily think we want to leave the shade to only be in the inner corner either. So kind of interesting on the topper. I mean, on the eye, this sort of topper looks super sophisticated. It's not a chunky glitter. It doesn't stand out that much. So for a topper, like if you want a super sparkly like topper shade, I'm not sure this has like a lot of punch that people might expect. But overall, like pretty look. Yeah, that kind of subdued everything. Sorry about that. Now you can probably tell I have red on. Alright, I'm gonna go back in with the red. But I wanted you to see like what that did, the topper did. But we're kind of gonna backtrack a little bit. Eyeshadow looks, you may feel like, oh, this is taking this look in a certain direction, and then it takes a bit of a turn, and then you gotta go back. So I'm just reapplying the red a little bit because I don't want it to get lost, and maybe a little bit of this peach. And there you have it. I'm gonna do a little bit of blending. I think this is a really interesting palette, and I just realized probably how you're supposed to think of it. And I'm the dummy for not realizing it until now. So I think the way this palette is supposed to work is, of course, you could use all 5 shades in a look, figure out a way to make it work for you however you want to do it. But I think the way it's designed is that these 3 shades really go together. So the peach, the red, and the brown. You know, you could do red in the middle, peach all over, and brown to sort of in the crease and under if you like. But it also works this way. So you have the sort of pinky, reddish, I don't know, berry tone that's going on here. You have the red, and then you have the pink. So these two, I think, pair well together, like this pink and then the sort of glittery topper shade that sort of tones things down. But these also go with the red. So everything goes with red. You can go these 3 or these 3. That's how you're supposed to do it. I get it now. I don't know how I didn't see that before. But that's kind of how I view how these colors work if you were to just kind of stick to traditional color families. And you just wanted to use 3 shades. I'd say my most exciting shades are probably the red and the pink. The brown is fine, you know, it's okay. I think the topper is the most disappointing because it's not super bright, super pigmented. It's a little bit subtle, and it really kind of tones down the other shades. Alright, so I just have mascara to put on. I'm going to be using the Marc Jacobs At Lash, this little sample size. I used to be all about Dior mascaras back in the day, like the Dior show. They had like a bunch of different versions, and there was like a super fat brush. And it's funny because like these days I like can't imagine using a brush that big. But I used to really like that mascara, and I don't know, I just thought it did a good job, and you know, I was really into using it in college, and then I don't know what changed, like why I stopped buying it. I think I just wanted to try different things, and I think I realized like 30 bucks is expensive. But I really like this mascara, the At Lash. I like Marc Jacobs' other mascara as well, like the Velvet Noir one. I like that one too, so maybe I just really like his stuff. I don't really have any makeup from him. Unfortunately, some people are really scared of red and pink tones around their eyes, and I totally get it. I am one of those people that never has completely clear white eyes. And if you don't, you know, having a red eyeshadow can sort of emphasize that your eyes aren't completely white. But you know, you can use eye drops if you really care. I don't know, I don't think I look that sickly. Some of you may disagree. But I am not afraid of a red or a pink shadow. I think they're really different and fun shades to use, and to exclude them from your palette, you know, your kit altogether, just because you don't want to look tired or whatever. I think it's kind of silly. And I think, I mean, now is a perfect time to kind of let these colors out. I really like the formula of most of these shades quite a bit. They're just very smooth. Definitely a step up from their old formulas. I just want to reapply my lip again. I'm using the Chanel Soft Rose kind of lip duo thing here. Final Dior look. Just to review the Dior products that I own. I definitely recommend Airflash. That's what I used today. If you haven't heard of it, welcome to the Airflash Club. Excellent foundation. There's just something about the formula that really works. You don't have to spray it directly to your face. You can apply it however you want, and it's still beautiful. I don't know about it being water resistant or 12-hour wear, but I think the finish is just super smooth. It's really perfecting. You don't have to wear tons of layers. Really nice. The highlighter. So this, is my opinion, is one of those unique sort of shades. If you like pink, you know who you are. Kind of has a kind of a duochrome effect to it. But this is one of those buildable highlighters. You're not going to get like full-on super shine right away. You're going to have to swipe it a few times to build up that glow, but it's super pretty. Super nice packaging. We have the new Quint right here. Do I recommend these shades? I think if you appreciate a luxury formula, a really smooth formula, you like the packaging, you really love all the shades, and you like the combination of shades, I think you're gonna like this. There's not too much to complain about. I say the most difficult or disappointing shade is probably this one. Otherwise, I really like the other shades. And I think if all the other compacts, if I think all the other Quints are like this quality or better, I think you really can't go wrong. My last Dior products, my old Quint, I would definitely get something a little more exciting than these shades. These are just really light and boring and very matte, and I barely satin. I think eyeshadow formulas have just really improved since that one has been made. But yeah, that's kind of it. I need to build up my Dior collection a little more for you Dior fans out there. Okay, let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions about any of the shades in this palette. Yeah, I was super excited to finally get this, and I'm glad I picked, you know, this Quint out. I think it's interesting, it's different, and everything sort of works, which is great. I am a huge fan. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Please click like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.